So welcome. We are here for masterclass number 3, and tonight, you all who have shown up live, first of all, kudos, because you're gonna get a lot out of this. And for my friends who are watching the replay, kudos to you too, as long as you're taking notes, following along, and jumping in with us. So we are chatting how to create and execute your weekly meal plan in under 30 minutes. This is my organization method that can make or break your nutrition goals. So welcome, sincerely. I'm so happy you are here. And if you're happy and you know it, I feel like doing a little dance all of a sudden. I don't know where that came from, but let me know in the chat. For my friends who are watching us on Facebook, it's not too late. If you want to go over to michellefox.com/masterclass, you'll get the Zoom link to join us, and then you can chat it up with us. But for my friends who are in the room, I want to see you active in the chat box, because the more your body's moving as we get going in this next 60 minutes, the more your brain is going to be able to take in the information. And I truly want you to get every last morsel from this class. So if you're excited, let me know in the chat box. I've got my chat box right here in my corner. And as you are looking for your chat box, I will tell you, we've got Shirley Lynn in the house. She is our community manager. And yes, Shirley, you just got jazz hands. She's here as our community manager tonight. So if you have any questions as I get going, feel free to put them in the chat. If Shirley can help you, she'll get on it. If she can't, then she'll copy and paste them into this spreadsheet that I have. If you see me looking over here, it's just because I'm on my iPad looking at Shirley's notes. But please know you have 100% of my attention. So Cheyenne says, always excited to see you. Thank you, love, and ditto. Yay. And Jackie says, I could hardly wait for this class to begin. More jazz hands, yay. And then my mamacita, I'm so proud to be here as your mama. Sweet. Okay, so let's jump in. So the masterclass promise number 2 is, you can see how excited I am. Why don't we start with number 1? How about that? Okay. Masterclass promise number 1, you will learn how to create more time. Promise number 2, you will learn how to save money. Masterclass promise number 3, you will learn how to eliminate the what's for dinner question. That is like nails on a chalkboard for me. And then masterclass number 4, which I think I jumped to for the first one, is we're going to have some fun tonight. So again, whether you're moving your body physically, whether you're typing in the chat, I want to know, are you happy to be here? Are you excited to learn something new with me and with Shirley Lynn and with my mama in the room? Let's see. Oh, and for my friends who may not be on Zoom every day, first of all, congratulations. Second of all, if you look down in the ribbon, if you're on a laptop, you'll see some reaction buttons. So feel free to play with those if you want to put reaction buttons in the squares. And then also in the chat box, if you look at the very bottom, you'll see reaction buttons there. So if you want to give Shirley Lynn some love, you can send her some hearts or some smiley faces. You can send me some love. I'm definitely open to that. It's all good. So let's talk about some more fun before we get into the nitty gritty of our topic, and that is meal planning. But I do want to give you a heads up that if you stayed till the end, because you do have to be present to win the t-shirt, you'll have an opportunity to win this. Hell yeah. Can I get a hell yeah in the chat? Let's see. Is there anybody who wants a t-shirt? Oh, there we are. Oh, and Toby made it. So great to have you here, Goddess. Toby says, Kale, yeah, she wants one. Allison wants one. Okay, yay. And Toby says she loves hers. Love it. Okay, well, at the end, we will do the raffle and the drawing. Thank you. So I want to start here really quick, because this is the dun, 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 if I could get a drum roll, the big announcement, which is Masterclass number 1 and masterclass number 2, I led the same workshop last week. They got this description for Healthy Sexy May. It was an invitation to a 6-week group coaching program starting next week, actually. And there is a good chance that you may have shown up tonight because you have questions as well. However, I will let you know the community has spoken and people don't want online workshops right now. People want in-person workshops, and all the feedback I've been receiving thus far, well, not all. We've had some offline, actually a lot of offline conversations, but I will say a lot of people want more in-person connection. They want that hands-on with me. They want just more community, but together and not on Zoom. So with that, I am happy to share with you that I am doubling down on in-person workshops. So if you head to michellefox.com/events, you'll see a whole bunch of workshops that I have scheduled just for the next couple of months, but even into next year, and we will be adding more and more. So feel free to check back there so that you can plug into the community. Some paid events, a lot of complimentary/free events. But the 3 I want to highlight to you so that we can get in there together and learn and be up close and personal are 3 retreats that are coming up. So September 8th, we will be having a retreat right here in my home in Denver. So September 8th and 9th. So stay tuned because a lot of details are coming forward for that. October 18th. Oh my gosh, we're like this close. Like I can't give away all the goodies yet, but I will tell you contracts have already been signed. The place has already been rented. We will be in Dominican Republic with my friend and colleague, Dr. TJ. He's a medical doctor. So the 2 of us will be co-hosting that retreat. And then last but not least, my annual Take Me to the Water retreat will be in Riviera Maya next February. So stay tuned. You're all in my community now, so that means you'll see emails coming up. But if you want to be one of the first to know when the doors open for any of these retreats, of course, you know where to find me. Just head to hello@michellefox.com, or better yet, go to the events page and sign up for the waitlist. All right, so back to you. A little housekeeping first. I want you to spend, and I'm actually looking up at my wall clock now. You have my word. I am absolutely respectful of your time. We will be out of this room by 8 p.m. Mountain. So with that though, I have to ask you if you would be willing to carve out, protect this time, get rid of your distractions, turn the phone upside down, or better yet, put it outside of the room, turn off any extra distractions, whether it's music or, I know one of you has a baby. I know that, probably can't turn the baby off. Wouldn't ask you to. So bottom line though, I do want you to get comfortable and I do want you to give yourself this time, because when you learn what you're about to learn, you're going to be very grateful that you paid attention so that you can truly save so much time moving forward. All right, can I get another Kale yeah and or an absolutely if you agree to be with me for the next 50 minutes? And I'm actually happy to wait for this one. Oh, lots of Kale yeahs and absolutely. Okay, my people are with me. Okay, and to thank you for being with me, I want to start off by giving you this gift. I know I have a few Healthy Sexies in the room, so you may already have this, but maybe this is going to be a great refresher, and or you can have a new fresh copy. But this is your Rockstar List to Freshly Stored Veggies. So Shirley's going to put that in the chat box in a moment, and you can just click on the link, download this guide. You don't have to put in your email, your date of birth, anything like that. It's all yours. It's my gift to you. Thank you for showing up. And my friends who might just be logging on now, if you wouldn't mind muting, and then we're going to save 15 minutes at the end for all the questions you have. I will be absolutely happy to address you at that point. So thank you for that. And and just to give you a heads up from my friends who aren't aware of this guide, you are going to love it. It is a guide that shows you a lot of the say popular. How about that? Popular produce that we use to show you how to store it, like what can be frozen, what cannot, which veggies like water, like carrots and celery, love to be in a bath of water in the fridge, compared to like broccoli and cauliflower, who are like, water, don't touch me or I will mold on you. So grab your guide so that you don't have any more moldy or wilted produce in your fridge. All right, well, you download that. I'm going to take a little sip of water in my nice fancy wine glass because I'm fancy like that. Okay, so you are in the right place if you want more time outside of the kitchen. Yes, please. You are in the right place if you are frustrated with your current dinner routine. You, my friend, are in the right place if you struggle with consistency when it comes to cooking healthy food. And you are in the right place if you are ready to learn a new way. And whatever your motivation, I fully support you. So, as you know, today I am showing up today as your culinary nutritionist and health coach, but there are two other titles that I would be remiss if I did not mention, which is wife and mom. And yes, I am a dog mom too. That's my Chloe dog. Also, just to give you a quick background so you know that I know a little bit about what I'm talking about tonight, wink, wink. I went to school, I got my degree at NYU in applied psychology. And then a few years after that, I did travel to Belize and I studied with a shaman at the Arbigo Institute, where I learned how to talk to plants and I learned which plants go with which body parts to heal, both mental, physical, spiritual. It was pretty incredible. And then a few years later, I received my certification from the Inner Connection Institute here in Denver. And then most recently, based in Toronto, I received my certification at the Academy of Culinary Nutrition. All right, back to you. So what if I told you that by committing to 30 minutes a week of meal planning, that you could save up to 6 hours during the week for other activities, and that making small changes can increase your energy and help to decrease your anxiety? It is true. And I'm guessing that you may have already knew some of that. But next, I want to take a poll. I want to see who's in the room. So let me go to my second screen here and start a poll. And I just want to ask who's in the room as far as your experience with meal planning. So and I want you to be authentic with yourself, please know this poll is private. Nobody knows who and how you're voting, but is it I love it and want to get better? When it comes to meal planning, I try but have not been consistent. Or this is all new to me, Michelle, hook it up. I'll give it one more second. Okay, this is helpful. Awesome. This is great. Okay, so this has actually been across the board for the first two master classes the same. So it's like a lot of people know what it is and may have attempted it, but it can be hard to be consistent. But guess what? Not after today. You are so in the right place. So speaking of that, you should have a document that looks like this. We've emailed it to you, and maybe you've had it previously and just maybe didn't know what to do with it. I don't know, but grab it now. If you have a chance to print it now, if you haven't, go ahead. And then worst case scenario, no stressing tonight. Again, we're having fun. So if you haven't had a chance to print it and don't have access, just grab a blank piece of paper and you will still get benefits from everything that I'm teaching tonight. So blank piece of paper or your meal planner. And then looks like Shirley just shared the link again in the chat if you want to grab the link there. And I want to show you for my A-type personalities, this is the goal. And yes, it's a little blurry because this is an example of one of the meal plans that I provide for my group coaching. And, I can't give away all my secrets. So we're going to keep moving. But I just say that to say that's the version for my 8 types. Let me show you for me who has learned to release the A type. This is my example. Let's see if I can get close from last week. You can see my chicken scratches. And yes, my family has learned how to read my handwriting. And if they don't, then of course they call me out on it. They're very good at calling me out for it. But I just want to let you know, there's everything from being able to fully type it out. And if you have the time, great, go for it, good. But if not, most likely, and this is the way I'm actually going to teach you, is how to handwrite out the meal plan that works just as well. Okay, so meal planning. Why? Before we talk about the how, I want to talk about the why. And the why, as you see, I'm like, let me count the ways. Why wouldn't we meal plan? Besides saving time and saving money, there is something about calming the nervous system around meal planning. When you know what you're having for dinner, whether you're going out or you have a meal that you've written out and planned for and you know you're going to cook, like either way, just knowing what you have to look forward to and or knowing what's part of the end of your day or towards the end of your day, there's something that's just very calming and soothing to our nervous system. And anything I can do to have less stress on my plate, yes, I'm signing up for that. Another reason for meal planning, your snacks can be planned for. So no more, crunchy, crackly things in your desk drawer or running to the vending machine or at 3 p.m. running down to Starbucks because you didn't have anything. No, now you're going to have it on your meal plan, so you will be able to plan ahead. The time. I know I keep throwing that word around, but when you think of it, and maybe I can just slow down for a moment and all of my excitement, but if you think about it, when we take the 30 minutes that we are going to plan and protect, then we do have those up to 6 hours of time that we're not worried about. Like if you can think about when you're driving home, maybe from work or from dropping a kid off or picking up a kid, like all that time that your mind might be on that hamster wheel, it's gone because you will have planned ahead, my friend. Let's see, a few more things. I've got a ton written down, but I think we're all getting the point. One person actually in masterclass number 2 pointed out, and I thought it was brilliant, and I'm sad that I didn't mention it, which is for those of us who might be working on weight loss programs, having a meal plan and something to actually look at to have your attention will definitely help you stay on track. So it can absolutely help you to lose weight if that's one of your goals. And I know I have some people in my community who are actually trying to gain weight. So very similar. If you're trying to gain weight, this will help you to reach those goals as well. And then, am I missing anything? Does anybody else want to add anything in the chat box? And as I'm looking over, I definitely want to encourage you to talk to each other in the chat box. I know I can get very excited and start talking very fast. And so if I miss something, or if you miss something that I've said, there's a very good chance that somebody else in the community may have missed it as well, but that somebody else could also help you with that question. So love on each other, lean on each other. We are in this together this evening. All right. Let's see. Oh, Toby says, I can just use yours and save even more time. Yes, you can. And, we'll talk about that one. Thank you for the giggles, Miss Toby. Or excuse me, Goddess Toby. All right, so tonight we're going to work with 3 different pillars for meal planning. So we're going to start with the scheduling and the protecting of 30 minutes each week. The next step is adding our big calendar items. And then last but not least, and of course my favorite part, we're going to plan and we're going to have fun. All right, so let's start with the scheduling and protecting. So I want to know in the chat, when I say schedule and when I say protecting the 30 minutes, which one do you think is more important? the scheduling or the protecting? I'm going to take a sip of water while you let me know in the chat box. So mom says both. Molly says protecting. Protecting. Oh, and Yvette's here. Hello, beautiful friend. Protecting both. Okay. Yes. And that was kind of a trick question. You all actually get A pluses. And Mamacita, since you were first and you said it correct, both, you get a double A plus. So good job. But yes, they are both so important. Tonight, I can do my part and we are going to schedule. That's going to be our very next step. But I implore you, I inspire you, I encourage you to protect this time. I will tell you, when I was working in corporate not too long ago, 8 to 5, and we all know that usually means 7 to 7 at least, I would use Sunday mornings, 8 a.m. That was on my calendar as a recurring calendar appointment for myself. But my kids knew, my husband knew, even poor Chloe dog knew, do not talk to mama in those 30 minutes because that is my protected time to meal plan. And I noticed when I didn't do the meal planning, it definitely had a domino effect on the rest of the week. And so, yes, so I asked you to pull out your meal planner, but now I want to ask you to pull out your calendar. And I want you to look for windows that are realistic. I am a morning person, so Sunday mornings at 8 worked for me back then. Now that I'm an entrepreneur, I have a bit more flexibility. And so now it's Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. And I don't have to work as hard to protect that time because nobody's home. Well, Chloe dog, but you know, she's very supportive with the meal planning. She wants to make sure she gets her food too. So I just give you those two examples so that you can see. I know somebody in masterclass number 1, they were very clear that it was 8 p.m. actually that worked for her. And I think it was like Tuesdays, 8 p.m. So I'm going to play a little bit of music. I'm going to put 2 minutes on the clock, and I promise I'm looking at the timer here. And I want you to go through your calendar. And not only do I want you to look for the time that you can commit to for those 30 minutes every single week, but I also want you to put it as a recurring calendar appointment. And then the third step, I want you to come back, put it in the chat, let us know what day and time so that you have that extra level of accountability. All right, 2 minutes on the clock. Let's get a fun song going. Oh, I like this one. Let's see. Beautiful. All right. And now, Yvette, you get a double A plus because, my friends, Yvette says she put it on the calendar. She also gave Alexa the command to remind her. So bravo. What a great way to set yourself up for success. Nicely done. Okay, so next up, we are going to now do a double take. So we'll have our calendar and we'll also have our planner. So at the very first, at the far left of the page, the very first column, that's where I have all of our days. And so when we look at our calendar, and I want you to scan your calendar for the high stress items and or the extracurricular events. And when I say high stress, it doesn't mean, you know, bad or good. It just means like, I know we have a professional speaker on our call today. So the days she has a big speech to give, then she's going to know either I'm planning to order out dinner that night and or I'm going to do a crock pot meal in the morning so that I don't have to worry about it in the evening because I already know my energy is already going to be expended more so during the day. For those of us who have children, you want to look at their events. So if there's gymnastics after school or after work, it's probably a good chance that you're going to want a quick meal that evening. So that would tell yourself, oh, again, do I want to do a crock pot meal? Maybe that's the night I want to do leftovers from a night or 2 nights ago. And so you're going to take those big events and we're going to put them, just write them right underneath the day. So I use this example this month. Your girl took a photography class And the reason why I kind of laugh is because it turned out very different than I was anticipating. I will say I went for the creative and to get out of my mind, but it turned out to be really technical. This is a whole different story for a whole different time. However, the Wednesdays in the month of April, I would put M photography so that when I went to fill out the rest of this meal planner, my brain would automatically know, oh, alert, I'm going to be gone Wednesday night. So if a kid or a husband is home, I want to make sure they have food. And of course, I want to prepare ahead. And so I will tell you, because this month has passed now, I had my last photography class last night. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, universe. Don't know if I'm going to be back, but maybe we'll see. But I had typically leftovers in the car, and that's how I made that work. So that is my personal example. Now for you, I'm putting 3 minutes on the timer. I'm going to have some water and I'm going to dance with some music. So as I'm doing those 3 minutes, I want you writing on your planner any big items coming up in your week for this week. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, I put the best week ever. Have fun with this. So if you want to put stickers on your planner, I strongly encourage, using different pen colors to make it fun. We want to do anything we can to let our brain know meal planning can be fun. And not only can it be, it is. We're having fun. So big ticket items, put them underneath the day left column. Here we go. 3 minutes. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, I like this one. Yes, this night keeps getting better and better. Okay, and no worries if you didn't get all your big items for this next week coming up. You will have time, but as long as you got 2 to 3, that it will key in your brain to knowing when you come back to this, like, oh yeah, that's what that column's for. So good job. Okay, last but not least, the planning and the having of the fun. So I try to make this as simple as possible, meaning I wanted it to go, left to right, easy for your eye to see, because again, I am very passionate about relaxing my nervous system, and I truly hope that this class will help to relax your nervous system. With that said, after we do that first column, we are going to jump straight over to dinner, because I find that dinner is the largest meal that people tend to get a bit anxious about, whether it's because we're socializing with others or planning for a family, if you have other people in your household, or I don't know, it's the end of the day. I think a lot of people want the end of the day to be as nice as possible. So and actually another reason I like to focus on dinner is because I am a huge leftover queen. I tend to only make 2 to 3 dinners a week, make a little bit of extra so that I have those leftovers to eat during lunch and for other dinners throughout the week. So just a little hip tip there. I know some people don't love leftovers. I will just nudge you, encourage you, hopefully inspire you to perhaps repurpose your leftovers if you are one of those people. If not, eat the leftovers. It's that way you know that you're going to be saving the money because you're not running out to fast food, and you know what ingredients are in that meal. So we're going to start with dinner. What I love to encourage people to do is use what I call Dr. Google. You put in, maybe some ingredients that you have sitting in your fridge, or if you're having a craving, go to Google, put in a few words, and thousands, if not millions of recipes are going to pop up for you. So I encourage you to stay curious, perhaps, of new recipes or about new recipes. Also, I will add, I know you have standbys that you either love to go towards, or if you have themes like Taco Tuesdays, write those down. So I'm going to put 5 minutes on the calendar this time, and I want you to first look at the left column to check. Do I have a big item coming up this week? And I keep saying this week, but hopefully you're either planning ahead for next week or for my AA+ students, maybe you're planning already for tomorrow. Awesome sauce. But whatever you're doing, let's start with dinner. Put a few things in there, whether you're going to Google to research. I actually have a few recipe books that I love that I'd love to share with you. And I know that many of you on this call have your own recipe books, whether they're in the basement or on the shelf. And I know there's plenty in the kitchen as well. So feel free to grab recipe books. But especially for my women who are over 40, I love recommending this book called Keto Green 16 by Dr. Anna Cabeca. And in the replay email that I send to you all tomorrow, I'll make sure to put a link to this book. Also, the Body Ecology Diet has some amazing recipes in it that are very health supportive. I've been leaning on this book probably a good 25 years now, honestly. The Undiet Cookbook by my teacher, Megan Teltner. I am inspired by a lot of her recipes to create my own that I now share, actually. And then last but not least, I love me some Michelle Tam. She does a lot of Asian style paleo meals. And so it's really delicious and she makes it really fun as well. So those are just 4 of the recipe books that I lean on for inspiration. Okay, so for this next 5 minutes, again, I want you putting down your go-to lean on meals. I want you to take this time maybe to run down to the basement and grab out a cookbook, whatever works for you. Let's try it. So 5 minutes. Awesome. And as we wrap up this part and move into a few hip tips and then into questions, can anybody, or does anybody want to share a dinner that they may be looking forward to in the next few days, whether it's something that's your go-to and or a family favorite and or maybe a new recipe that you just found on Google or in a cookbook that you've been meaning to open for the last 3 years? I would love to see it in the chat. And as I look down at the chat, thank you, Shirley, for the reminder that yes, you absolutely can go to michellefox.com/food to find gluten-free, sugar-free, dairy-free recipes there as well. So thanks for that, Shirley. All right, and I might be on a time lag because I feel like every time I talk, it takes like a minute for things to start rolling in. So I'm gonna keep talking just to be mindful of our 60 minutes together, the timing. And oh, one did pop in. So Faye says she's going to try Greek chicken with cucumber feta salad. Ooh, yum. That sounds like a perfect spring meal. Rach says naan, pesto, pumpkin seed pizza. Ooh, that could be really interesting. And then Rach, you'll have to put that in your blog and then let me know so I can check it out as well. Oh, Molly's going to try a garbanzo Mediterranean salad. Yum. I know that sounds like that would also be delicious leftovers for lunch the next day. So nice. You guys are rocking it. Okay. Bravo. Okay. So now that we know what we want for dinner, and again, I don't fully expect you to have every square under dinner filled out during this workshop, but perhaps either after we get off this call and or when you go to your time that you've put on your calendar that you will be protecting, then you can fill it in then. So the next step after we have our dinner squares filled in is we're going to go through those recipes and or if we're making a lot of these from memory, and then we're going to put the ingredients in the far right column. And you can see I broke it up into where these sections are in the grocery store for my friends who are still grocery shopping. I know we have quite a few people on this call who do the Instacart, and kudos to you. That's amazing as well. So I put the produce together, the aisle, the meat, the frozen, and then the other. And with other, that can often be the staples that we always need and or errands you're running that day. I know for me, I typically go to Sprouts to do all of my produce shopping and then a lot of my gluten-free items that I like to grab. And then I'll go over to Costco to get like my avocados and the big bucket of spinach from my smoothies and eggs and a few other things that the family likes. And so I'll usually put my Costco list under other and my Sprouts list under everything else. All right, so after we go through, put our ingredients there, then we're gonna go back over to breakfast, lunch, and snacks. As I showed you a little bit earlier, you can see I've been doing this a little over 6 years, and so I know myself very well, and I know that I typically am not gonna make the time to put breakfast on here because, 1, I'm pretty big into intermittent fasting, so I don't typically eat till 10:30 or 11 AM, and at that point, it's a smoothie, and so I just make sure to have those staples, like I want my avocados, I want my protein powders, and I take it from there. And then lunch, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be leftovers or I'm going out with a friend, and so I don't fill that in. And then snacks, that's where I strongly encourage some of my beginning meal planners, especially if you are one of those people, and no judgment here, I promise, but if you're one of those people who has the snacks in their drawers that you always feel a little bit not so great about eating, now I want you to put realistic snacks in the snack column so that you can make sure to have those ingredients at arm's reach when you get hungry. Because nobody starves when they work with me. I don't want you hungry. I want you eating. I just want it that when you're eating, I want it to be a healthy, brain supportive, energy boosting snack for your body. All right. Next thing that goes in the planning and the having of the fun is the example we had tonight. Play your favorite music. Doing that will tell your brain, again, this is fun. This is something I am enjoying. I'm listening to my music. I'm drinking my favorite beverage. I'm sitting in my favorite chair. I'm in my happy environment. I will tell you, I love my office for work, and I am here to do work. But when I do my meal planner, I take my recipe book, sometimes I'll bring my laptop, and I go sit at my kitchen table because then I can spread out. And I do think it's telling my brain, like, okay, this space is for working, that space is for indulging and enjoying filling out my meal planner and getting ready to get delicious groceries. And then last but not least, you want to thank yourself for committing to your health because intuitively, you know this is going to help you feel better in your body when you know that you have control over the foods that you are purchasing. Last but not least in this section, and I'm gonna actually take a sip while you read. You want to take one last look once everything's filled out in your squares and just make sure you're not forgetting anything. Put your shopping list on the right. And then of course, again, think of those staples, even if it's like, we'll just say a neutral food. I don't like to use the words good and bad, but I want you to stay realistic because if you're buying that somewhat neutral food, there's a good chance that it's gonna prevent you from buying that over-processed sugary food at the last minute. So I want you to stay realistic and I want you to put that staple on here. I can tell you in our family, Steve is very attached to his bananas. So the bananas are always on this list. That is one of our staples. And as I look through here, I'm trying to think if I am missing anything, but I think we've got it. Okay, so just to recap, you're going to schedule, which we just did today. And you're absolutely going to protect. In fact, can I see it in the chat? Protect, protect, protect. You're going to schedule and protect the 30 minutes each week. You're going to start with the first column, add any big calendar items, anything that might be a stressor, anything that's out of the norm for your day. And then you're going to actually do the planning and have the fun. Oh, yay. And actually, before I read this screen, I'm reading the chat. So Sheila says for her, she has green beans, baked red potatoes, zucchini, and on Sunday, nice. Rachel's saying sugar snap peas, yum, love the crunchy there. Carrots, more crunch, broccoli, cauliflower, and those are her weekly staples. Nicely done, Rach. Okay, so how does it feel to know that you can have control over your nutrition? This is one step just to get you there. And so if you are ready for more community around your health goals, I invite you to plug in. Again, masterclasses 1 and 2 got the invitation to Healthy Sexy May. For my friends who may have missed that announcement in the beginning, we are no longer doing that. We are going to be focusing on in-person get-togethers, specifically wellness retreats. And I want you to come learn and grow with us. So you can head over to michellefox.com/events and you'll see all of the juicy details. And just as a reminder, I sincerely invite you to lean into this community. I would love to have you at any of our retreats, the one here at my home in September, perhaps the one in Dominican Republic in October, or actually, why am I saying or? We're not going to limit that. How about or? Come to one of them, come to all of them. We will be in Riviera Maya in February. So just as a reminder, you are in the right place if you want more time outside of the kitchen. Yes, please. You are in the right place if you've been frustrated with your dinner routine. You are in the right place if you have struggled with consistency when it comes to cooking healthy food. And obviously you're in the right place because you just learned a new way to meal plan. So your Show Up Live bonus too, it is time for the raffle after we answer a few questions. So if you've been holding on to any questions, now is the time to go ahead and put them in the chat box. I'll check my list to see if there's any questions that have been asked earlier. I'm also going to turn off my screen sharing so I can be up close and personal with you. And so now is the time for questions, whether it's about meal planning, whether it's about the retreats, whether it's about any events coming up. And let's see here. Oh, Faye asked, where in the Dominican Republic? Oh my goodness. Faye, because we are friends, I need to pull up my screen and share this place because it is bigger and more beautiful than I even dreamed about. You're gonna love this one. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, I'm gonna move it to this screen. So to answer you directly, we will be in, looks like Playa Plata. And, excuse me, Puerto Plata. And then let me share my screen again. And I promise I won't go through all 60 photos, but every time I look through this, I just get goosebumps because it's so beautiful. All right, let's see. So this will be all ours. It's a beautiful villa style home. We'll have a private chef. We will have private security. Everybody will have their own private room, private bedroom. We'll have culinary nutrition classes, of course, just 2. We'll have excursions. We'll have massage. We'll have yoga, and we'll all be on this property. So just wanted to give you a little bit of a taste because you guys are my friends. I promise to share more as we get more details. All right. So Yvette's asking, how do you combat the all or nothing mentality? Love that question. 1, you get a coach like Yvette Flowers, who works on mental toughness. She's amazing. Look her up if you do have that issue. And number 2, I really think you have to choose your hard. Like, it's hard gaining weight, not feeling sexy in your skin, not feeling like you have enough time. That is hard. It's also hard to protect that time sometimes to meal plan. However, if you're choosing the hard of the meal planning, I promise all the other pieces are going to gradually and softly improve. So thank you for asking. I will tell you in all of the programs I do, I like to focus on those three pillars, which is nutrition, of course, that's the thing I get the most excited about, but nutrition can't work without the mindset and also the fitness piece. So thank you for asking. All right. And Faye says, that looks amazing. Yay. Well, I would love to have you join us, Faye. Let's see. And then it looks like Shirley put links in the chat if you want to get on our wait list. Do we have any other questions before we do the drawing for the kale? Yeah. Tea. All right. So Cheyenne says, I know every person is on a different journey based on goals and health, but do you recommend at least one meal a day be veggie only or something when planning? Oh, I love that question. You didn't ask me directly, but I get the question a lot. Michelle, I don't want to be a vegan. And I'm usually like, good, I don't want to be either. I think there are a lot of mixed messages out there, and there are certain people who do believe veganism is the best. I do not happen to be one of those people. I actually strongly believe in the blood type diet, actually, and I would not recommend the vegan diet for anybody unless you are blood A type, because A's don't produce enough, well, I should say, A's don't often produce enough stomach acid to break down the meat. But B types and O's, well, again, this is my opinion from my research, personal experience, what I've seen with clients. I always have to give that disclaimer that I am not a medical professional. And if you make any big changes in your life, you definitely want to talk to your personal medical professional. With that said, I am a strong believer in animal protein. Also, when we talk about animal protein, I like to talk about it as like not more than your fist on your plate, and even less if possible. I truly believe, very similar to the Mediterranean diet, we want at least 80% of our plate to be plants, and then the meat can be like a condiment. So awesome question. So to answer you very directly for every meal, I want you having veggies at breakfast, veggies at lunch, and veggies at dinner. But I also would love for you to incorporate that animal protein if that is what you choose. Thank you for asking. All right. Yeah, the food pyramid she says, thanks. The food pyramid gets me down sometimes. Yeah, that's one of the things I get on my soapbox about. I really get upset about that food pyramid because I think it does confuse people, and it's given to us from people who are supposed to be our leaders, and I just don't believe in it. Okay, off of my soapbox on that one. Any other questions before we do the drawing? We've got 1 minute left, and you all have been absolutely amazing. Okay, so this is my very fancy way of doing it. You just have to trust me that I'm doing it right, or that I'm keeping my word, but I'm doing eeny, meeny in the squares, miny, mo, catch a tiger by his toe. If he hollers, let him go. My mother said you are it. Ah, Jackie Griffin, you are it. You won the Kale Yeah Tea. Congratulations, Jackie. Thank you so much for coming this evening. If you could send an email to hello@michellefox.com and share with us your t-shirt size and your mailing address, we'll get one in the mail to you this weekend. All right. Well, I have another 15 minutes if anybody wants to catch up. I'm going to stop the recording. So I just want to say thank you all so much for showing up for you and for your community, because that's how we build healthier communities, is building up our health one person at a time. So Thank you for showing up.
Thank you, Michelle.
You are welcome.